Dawn. Hey, Anne. How is Maine today? Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hard to believe it's Monday already. I was in the Concord and 9th summer camp this weekend. Hey, Essie. I bet it is. This is the prime time of year to be in Maine. I bet you have lupin everywhere. Probably not blueberry season for y'all yet, since it's blueberry season here. But I did love the lupin because it's very much like bluebonnets. Really pretty. How is work? And the child beast, Essie. I wanted to show y'all the, this is my Lydia split from my Daniel Smith split group. So this is one of the 2 curated splits in the group. So in the group, I have split the entire Daniel Smith line into groupings of 24 to 27 colors. So they all kind of have a different character. And if you get all of the lettered splits, which go to I, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, then you will have the full Daniel Smith line, but you will have paid about 1/7 of the price if you were to go buy the paints yourself. So I pan them all up and split the tubes between different splits in the group. But then there are 2 curated splits. So I went to New Mexico. This was right before the pandemic. So it was the end of 2019. And I brought a bunch of my splits and I created this curated split. And I called it the Lydia split because what I found was I was using the same colors kind of over and over. I found that in my, let me grab my sketchbook. Ooh, blackberries. How nice. Oh, that's awesome, Essie, that you get a little vacation. Let me see where my sketchbook is. So what I found when I was doing, for example, this is one of the sketches that I did when I was in New Mexico working on the split. I was out there by myself, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get this done. I'm going to put together what I think is the perfect split of Daniel Smith watercolors just based on what I used over and over again. And what I found, because I like to make little keys on my sketches of the colors that I use. Let me see if I can find another example. Here I was just like studying light and shadow. I wasn't really doing a painting. That is Garcia Street and Canyon Road. We always pass that little house when we're going down to town. But I do these keys. These are for some of the doodle wash challenges. Ooh, brown butter banana bars. We're going to need that recipe, Sandy. Oh my gosh. So here's the key. Here's the key. This is actually a sketch that I used a lot more color than I normally did. This was a crayon challenge. So I actually put some pastels on my desk and painted those. This was from my hotel room in San Rafael, California when I went to go see Hero Arts. I didn't put a key on this one. This was a challenge that Lori Craig and Lisa Spangler and I did together from a reference photo that Lori provided us with. Here's the key, and this one's probably a better example. So this is a sketch where I'm doing a single thing. And so ostensibly it's one color, right? Like an orange or a leaf or whatever. And I started to realize that 5 to 6 pigments were what I was using over and over again. This is an apple that was actually, I picked it off the tree in the place that I was staying in Santa Fe. They have these strange little apples in New Mexico. And so what I did was I got to here and I started kind of working on the split. And I came home and actually before I came home, I started painting with it. I was like, oh, it's not quite right. So this was like the first draft. And I worked with it. I put it in a travel palette and I sketched with it for a while. And I was like, it's just not quite right. It's not the colors that were really kind of my go-to colors. These are a little bit later. This is actually a different medium. This is the Viva color sheets. But anyway, so on that trip, I was determined to, here's another attempt. So see, it says test of Lydia split notes. And then I made some notes about things that I was missing and things that weren't working for me in this. And I finally got it down to the one that really is the colors that I reach for the most. So in my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy tradition, it had 42 pigments. I did end up adding a black, a white, and a gray to this, but this really is the palette that I use the most often. This and the D split in the Daniel Smith group, but there are lots of D split and lots of C split colors in this curated split. So I just kind of wanted to show you what it is and how I picked what I was going to use in the travel palette that literally goes everywhere with me. No matter where I'm going when I watercolor, this goes with me. As you can tell, because it's not Dawn Walslegel dirty. Dawn is a much more relaxed person than I am, but it's pretty dirty for me, meaning there's paint everywhere. The floral split is the C, Dawn, because that is the one with all the quinacridones. Or, you know, there are quinacridones in other splits like D, but that's the one with the majority of the quinacridones. And those are just so glowy with florals. So here, I'll show you what that one looks like, just so you can see. And I have scavenged, because I had to make my Lydia split, instead of panning up a whole new split and, you know, not being able to fill a split for somebody else. I scavenged from my existing splits that I'd created before I curated the Lydia split. So this is my palette with the C and the D. So the D actually is a landscape split. That's the split that started the group, because Lori and I were taking a landscape painting class, and these were the colors that they asked us for. So Lori and I split them, and that's what started the split group. This is the C split. So you can see Quin Magenta, Quin Pink, Quin Red, has Wisteria for those lighter, more opaque florals, Quin Lilac, Quin Coral, all the quinacridones, or not all of them, clearly, but a lot of them. And then D also has what I consider to be essential quinacridones, which is gold, purple, and rose. And then the classics like ultramarine blue, sap green, all of that. So you can see I stole some out of here to make up my my split. So yeah, C split is beautiful. I will say, and I put the statistics in the group at one point, it is without a doubt the most popular split. Okay, so we're going to get back to painting this. Now, where we left off last time was me realizing that this was actually a different plant than this kind of more eucalyptus-y looking plant. So I was going to make these a different color. Hey, Facebook user Type your name so we know who you are. I'm going to take my glasses off because I can't paint with my glasses on. So I thought that I would do these in a little different color just to differentiate the foliage. Speaking of foliage, Dawn, I cannot believe. Oh, and I wanted to ask you what you were saying. Were you saying canna rest? Is that the name of the disease that affects the cannas? I wonder if that's why people really don't grow them here. Because I used to see them everywhere. And I just don't anymore. People just don't appear to be growing them as much. And I wonder if that's why. Oh, no, Marianne. Oops. I was going to do a little gold. See if this is still wet. The air conditioner is on stun, obviously. Because it's so raging hot here. Oh, canna rust. Okay. So it's not a pest then. It's a disease. I bet you that's why we don't have them here. It used to be a very popular landscape plant here, and it's just vanished from the landscape, and I bet you that is why. In all my years of listening to our local gardening radio show, which was my tradition every Sunday, back when I used to get in the car and go do stuff, I would listen to this great organic gardener. I mean, he is just like a pioneer in our town. And I never heard of canna rust until you told me, so thanks for sharing that. Yeah, high humidity and rain. That's here. Oh, that makes sense because they do grow so close together. They're like a little forest. And I know it's sad that it's empty, but I will say that your photo was just like, don't you love those projects where you're just like cleaning something bad out of your garden? Okay, now you can see that the quinacridone gold kind of tones down that more bluish tint that I'm using. So, oh, I know, stupid Facebook. I was on a conference call on Friday where we all agreed that Facebook was EVIL, but we didn't really have a way to get away from it. Like, we're all like prisoners. So we need a way to get away and still be able to hang out with each other somehow. Oh God, yeah, I gotta look up the walnut thing. I saw Clarence today. He's being a little weirdo, and he sat in the middle of the street today, which really makes me nervous. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe some just have like, maybe they've adapted and their genes, their little canna genes are more resistant to it. That's interesting. The town I grew up in was super, super humid too, and rainy, much more rainy than it is here, but it's so humid here. I know, I would love to, Marianne. I would love to. Well, I still do have my Discord, you know. Discord is better than Facebook. For one thing, it's in chronological order, which is great. But people don't seem willing to move over to platforms like that. Although I did hear that Discord was getting a little big brothery too. I wish I had like the money and the time to do it, because I would do it. And it would be the most BS free platform ever. And it would be mostly like kittens and squirrels and stuff. I was getting mad, Marianne, because people were giving Peanut the squirrel a hard time on Instagram. That's why I don't go over to Instagram. Ugh. People are so mean. How can you be mean about a squirrel? I don't get it. He's just a little squirrel. Just a guy with a squirrel. Isn't that pretty how those two mix together? Make sure you can see that. It's a little dark, and we're starting to get a couple little clouds here. We're supposed to have a cool off. It's supposed to get down to like 93. One day is supposed to be 93, which is unbelievable considering what we've been going through. Yes, and quokkas. Lots of quokkas. If any of y'all are on Twitter, you should follow the account that is Quokka Every Hour is the name of the account. And every hour, this person posts a picture of an adorable quokka. Like, so cute. I'm assuming you say quokka. They do. I had a squirrel playing with this stick on Friday. It was so cute. Or maybe Saturday. So cute. And I thought I was getting video of it, but I had my Google Pixel out there instead of my iPhone because my iPhone battery was dead because I had been filming all weekend. And I took my Pixel out there and I did something wrong and it didn't record it. Quokka is, here, let me spell it for you. Oh, where's my mouse? Let's see. It's the animal that always looks like it is smiling. Essie, it's literally the cutest thing you've ever seen. But anyway, he was playing with the stick, that's what squirrels do. They like to like fight with sticks. It's the cutest thing ever. But chipmunks, so I'm in a squirrel group, obviously. And a lot of the posts in that group are chipmunks, actually. And they are so cute and have so much personality. I wish we had them here, but it's too hot for them here. So, but that was my first word, in case you've never heard that story. Chipmunk was my very first word. So it's sort of destined to have little chipmunk-like critters hanging around. I am on episode 12, Vicki, and it's so twisty and turny. It's crazy. And I've listened all weekend, I swear, but I was in summer camp this weekend. So I wasn't listening when I was in summer camp. But I like that the episodes are really long. But I wish Susan Simpson talked a little bit slower. Sometimes I have to rewind. I'm like, I didn't catch that. But it's pretty twisty and turny so far and really well done. I also love her co-hosts, I guess. There are two of them. It was so great, right, Yura? Everybody had so much fun. It was like a good bonding time, and the little ending was so sweet. Jennifer's video was amazing, as usual. It's called Proof, but you have to look for, it has like, let me see if I can get it on my other phone. It has like yellow cover art because there is, no, my other phone is dead. There is another podcast called Proof that is about food that I am also subscribed to. So you want the one that is by Susan Simpson. And it's about a case in Georgia, which is really interesting because my favorite season of Undisclosed was actually the season on Joey Watkins, not the season on Adnan Syed. And it was Joey Watkins who told her about this case. So, Vicki, if you have not listened to the season of Undisclosed with Joey Watkins, you need to listen because it's just going to blow your mind. No spoilers, but it's fantastic. I know. I saw that you had saved everybody from your shaker card. I didn't see any quokkas when I went to Australia, Sandy. I'm not sure where Rottnest Island is. Is that the island with the koalas? Because we did go there. I need to rewatch Jennifer's, Sandy, because I wanted to make that little stair step card. You know, I don't usually do interactive cards. I loved that little stair step card. I thought it was so cute. What are you asking me to say again? The Koala Island? That was fun. But anyway, I didn't see any quokkas when I was there. I saw lots of amazing birds. The birds in Australia walk right up to you, just like they know you, which was fun. We were staying right across from the botanical garden in Brisbane. And so we saw these beautiful birds that had no fear of humans, but we also saw the flying foxes, which are the most beautiful creatures I've ever seen in my life. Those are their giant fruit bats that are like 4 feet tall. They're amazing. Oh, I agree. Her instruction was great on that cake card. Like it was so funny as she was doing the video. First of all, I really liked the hybrid, Perth. No, we were nowhere near Perth. The hybrid video and live format, because I really enjoyed the videos because I could pause. I could change the playback speed, that kind of thing. I thought that was a brilliant change, and I hope they keep that format. Okay, so now you can really kind of see the difference between those two little foliage bits, right? The flying foxes are amazing, Yora. They're so cute. They literally look like a fox with wings. So cute. I know people are freaked out by them, but they're not scary. They're fruit bats. They're not going to eat your brains. It's hard to scare me of anything anymore. I feel like we've kind of seen it all. We've seen the monkeypox, all of that. Okay, I'm just going to go in with black paint here. I'm not going to put color in this center. I'm just going to do like the little dotty, leaving a little bit of white space, imperfect kind of center there. I don't want to make it all dark. Here, I'll show you that a little bit closer up. I don't want to make it all dark, because if you actually look at the center of one of those, any flower that has like that kind of clustered little center, like a sunflower, or Dawn probably knows what this flower is. I don't. You'll see that they reflect light, like those little things reflect light. So I wanted to kind of leave the darkness in there. I'm using a size 2 brush. So now I have to decide, what do I want for shading of the petals? So now that it's really defined for me, right? The dark and the light spots are really defined. I can add a little bit of shading to some of the petals just by going back on top of the dry paper with water and then adding a little bit of pigment. So I'll do that for both the flower and the leaves. And I think what I'll choose is Mayan dark blue. Yeah, what is this flower, Dawn? I don't know what it is. So the first thing I do is I just get a little bit of water. And again, you want to make it shiny but not mound it up. And I go farther than I want the shading to go. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of Mayan dark blue. which is one of my favorite shading colors. And I'm just going to touch it and let it do whatever it wants. I'm not going to micromanage it. I'm just going to add little pops of it here and there. I agree. I think it's like an archetypal flower. I love flying squirrels. My grandfather had a pet flying squirrel. He lived right on Chesapeake Bay in Annapolis. And he had this little flying squirrel that would come flying up out of the woods. He had a screened-in porch, so he would walk outside. And this little guy would come zooming out of the trees and come get in his pocket. It was the cutest thing ever. Okay, so see how I'm not going to add this on every petal, but because it's a different color, and I think that what a lot of people want to do is shade with the same color. And I can just tell you it's a little bit less interesting when you do that versus just choosing another color and shading with that. Now, a lot of times what I really like to shade with is purple. So on this flower, obviously that was not an option. So the navy blue kind of gives it a little cooler kind of contrast. The flying squirrels are so cute. They're tiny, or they're like they're more like chipmunk sized. Yeah, and this little guy would just swoop in out of the woods whenever my grandfather opened the screen door. He would just swoop in and come get in my grandfather's pocket. Because my grandfather, he was like, speaking of archetypes, archetypal old shop guy. And so he wore those coveralls. And they had like a pocket, 2 pockets actually, up on his chest. And the squirrel would just zoom in and get in his pocket, and then my grandfather would feed him from there. So, okay, I think I'm going to shade this one. And I might even go a little bit farther into the flower because this one isn't really super duper connected right here. So I might kind of close that loop there. There you go. And if you don't do it regularly, if you do it kind of irregularly all over the flower, I think it looks better. You said he couldn't stay? Was he living inside your house? Because that is definitely a line that we don't allow our squirrels to cross here. That's not happening. They're welcome outside. Sort of like everything else. The foxes, the coyotes, the spiders, all of that. Isn't that pretty? So now I need to do the center of this flower, but I think what I'm going to do is do the shading on at least this one large petal first. Are you like a hitman for roses, Dawn? You're like, let me kill your rose. $45. I'll kill your rose. I was good at roses at our old house. Not so good here. Just not thriving over here. We had a lot more sun in our previous house. And so all of my flowers did better over there. Now, I will also add a little bit of shading to these leaves just to give them a little bit of interest. And that, I think, I'm going to do with Bordeaux. Let's see. Oops, I got a little bit too much. But that red always adds interest to green leaves. Red or purple, either way. But since that's a color that I don't have yet, I like putting it in there, and it's kind of a warm color, even though this is a little cooler red. It's still a warm contrast to my undersea green that I have for the leaves. And I won't put it everywhere. Again, you just want to kind of look around and pick little points of interest where you want different colors and make those pop. Oh yeah, knockout roses. Those are the ones that people grow the most here because they're easy. Oh my gosh. I can't believe he ran across your chest. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I bet you were freaking out. It's not the cat. That is hilarious. Air plants. You know, plants are like watercolor. 99% of the problems with plants come from water. Too much, too little, all of that. Okay, so now I will go in and fill in this, and I'm going to try really hard not to overwork all of this. Actually, before I fill that in, I'll overwork a little bit. I'll add a couple little pops of the gold too. And you can even just go in dry and put like a really dark, well, that's not that dark, but you can put like a little spot to, oh my gosh, you have 2 bananas? That is exciting. You can put just like a more distinct little dot, because, you know, leaves have dots. They have little dark spots. You can go in with like sepia. Oh no, the bat sound is not a good sound. I love bats, don't get me wrong. We live in a bat city. I'm a fan of bats. I think they're adorable. Don't really so much want one in my bedroom though. That's not really where I like to keep my bats. Okay, so I'm just going to put a couple little black dots, just sort of like defects in the leaves. Just every now and then. Well, they're not actually black. They're sepia. But that just adds like a crispness that you're not really seeing in the rest of the painting. Here, let me see if I can get rid of that shadow. Let's see if this is better. Now you can see it without my phone shadow. Might be a little bit dark, but still better. Hey, Dina. Oh my gosh. How are you? Where are you? I didn't see you come in. You know, I had a succulent that my sister gave me that I completely forgot about. Like literally never even walked into that part of the yard and watered it or did anything. And it survived our 4 freezes that we had this year, because I got it after that Uri storm, which was the previous year. It survived all of our freezes somehow. And then through 5 months of neglect, I just happened to walk into the side yard and this thing is going absolutely nuts. I'll have to post a picture of it. Thanks. I love those little leaves too. I like that combination. This is ultramarine turquoise plus quinacridone deep gold, and that's just a combo that I really like. So, and I'm not going to define these highlighted areas anymore. They're just going to be what they are. They're places where light is falling on the curling petals, and it's just going to be what it is. There's no need to go in and connect the lines and that kind of thing. It's it's fine the way it is. I mean, that's the beauty of watercolor. Oh, good. Yay, Dina. I can't wait. Send me an invoice. Dina is my dealer. If y'all want bundles when the new distress colors come out, do what I do. Put Dina on retainer, and she will just package them all up for you and send you the whole bundle with re-inkers and everything. I've never had one broken. She packs them amazing. And so that's where I get my Ranger stuff. And it's so nice. So that is a miracle. I had a plant that Kelly Hall sent me when my dad died, and I ended up putting it out in the yard. It was a succulent too. Oh my God, that thing lived. It lived until Uri. Uri is what finally killed it, but it lived 5 years outside in the yard in this beautiful little container that she sent it in. So there you go. We finished our no-line watercolor. No one was harmed in the process. I want you to try no-line watercolor. So, oh yeah, tell me and I'll do friends and family too, Dina. Just email me the amount. But yeah, so Design Creative Bling, that's where you need to get your Ranger bundles. She does all the thinking for me. I don't have to do any thinking. She just gives me one of everything in the new color, and it's fabulous. So check her out. All right. Well, that is that. Wednesday we'll do a card, and then Friday, of course, is Gel Press Friday. So you guys have a good weekend. Use your watercolors, use your re-inkers, practice, 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 and you will love watercolor as much as I do.